Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the San Diego Bass Fishing Podcast. Today, we have a couple of things going on. First thing off is we're going to do this in a couple of parts today for this podcast that's coming out. We have an interview with a young angler named Chase Sweetman. He's been on a little bit of a winning streak here with the juniors in the open division, and he's won the last couple of tournaments. We got the interview with him. He won El Capitan not this last weekend, being today is Monday, but the previous weekend, Chase won. And so we got his interview coming up, and it's pretty short. It's about 15 minutes or so. It's a fun interview. Great kid. He's a heck of a stick, and he's leading the points race for the Opens tournament. We're probably going to end up sending him back to Hartwell later this year for the national championships. So, and then we're going to switch gears back into our political mode. And we just had an update from Tom Lowry from the Friends of Lakes, San Diego Lakes, and what's going on there. Well, today, Dave Seberg and myself went to a LAFCO meeting. And what is LAFCO? LAFCO is the Local Agency Formation Commission, right? For San Diego County. And it's actually a really big deal. And it went very well for us. In my opinion, it went very well for us. I'm going to show you guys the meeting in whole, or I'm going to take the section of the meeting out that pertains to the San Diego Lakes. And I believe it's about 20 minutes long. It has Dave where he's standing up and giving his opinion to the commissioners and the supervisors. Well, the supervisors are the commissioners, but Jim Desmond was there. Joel Anderson was there. And then Dave gets up and says his opinion. They gave him 3 minutes to talk. They allowed him to run a little bit over. And then Joel Anderson steps up and makes a motion to proceed with the county, basically the county taking over the unincorporated lakes of San Diego, which would be like El Capitan, Sutherland, Hodges, all the outlying lakes. Like they have already with Lake Morena. Now, LAFCO has done this study, and on what is going on with the lakes. I got a phone call, and it just went to show everybody exactly how well Lake Morena is being run by the county Parks and Rec. It's open every day. There's a great rental fleet there. There's cottages to stay in. It's adequate staffing. All the maintenance is done very well. So Lake Morena is kind of what everybody else is compared to. All the other lakes are being compared to Lake Morena at this point, and that's what we want. This is what we want from the Friends of the San Diego Lakes, is for the county to step in and to run our Parks and Rec for El Capitan, Sutherland, Hodges. We want our days open. We want more open days on the lakes. We want the roads fixed. We want the rental fleet back. We want the docks in repair. We want bathrooms cleaned, kind of thing. In our opinion, the Public Utilities Department is not doing a very good job of that. And they're the ones who have been in charge for a long time. Long time. So we're looking for a change. That's what we're doing. And so anyway, so we had this meeting today. It went very well for us. I'm very happy that we had the opportunity to go there and talk with these people, or talk to them and make make our presence known and make our opinions known and our voice heard. It was a very important meeting today. And you can watch this, and you'll see how the demeanor of the room changes once Dave gets up there and starts talking, and then and then Joel steps up and and helps us out, and and furthers the project. So they were ready to shut this whole thing down, and with this one meeting with Joel's study, and then and Dave getting up there, and then Joel stepping up, and now it's moving forward. It's not getting shut down. They're in fact going to make a work list and look at it. There's a lot. There's a long road. It's a huge long road. But in the overall big picture of this big scheme of things, this is great. This is what we want. This is what we want. And furthermore, I have another podcast coming up with Jim Brown, and we talk further about this. We talk more about this whole LAFCO thing, and what they do, and what they advise on. So we got to bend their ear, and they're going to advise, the county and the city to work together. That's the big plan. So that's our podcast for today. And so like I said, Chase Sweetman's coming up, and then we have this LAFCO meeting, and that's going to be it for this week's podcast. But hope you guys enjoy it. I know it's a lot of political stuff. We did political last year. That's why I'm throwing this little Chase Sweetman nugget at you today, and a little fishing report. As far as the other fishing report goes, we had a turkey shoot at El Capitan this weekend, and congratulations to Jesse Hinckley. He kicked everybody's butt. imagine that. And he had 19-pound limit. I think it was 19.04. He had a 6.5 pound kicker. Awesome limit of fish. Second place went to Randy Sapp and Scott McIntosh with a 14.85 pound limit. Third place was Greg Leroy with a 14.78. He was just right there, right out of the money. So congratulations to those guys. Most guys, there was a lot of 12, 13 pound limits caught. So fishing is pretty tough, honestly. I know there was a 19-pound limit caught, but at the same time, fishing overall is pretty tough at El Cap. Fishing is, as far as Otay goes, there's varied reports. There's guys that are really doing well at Otay, and then there's guys that are not doing very good at Otay. There's a huge algae bloom in the main lake and over in Harvey Arm, and all down by the dam. And then as far as San Vicente goes, next weekend is on the 7th is the first Anglers Marine tournament. So that's probably going to be like 80 boats on Saturday on the 7th. I'm not going to tell you not to go fishing at San Vicente on the 7th, December 7th, but it's probably going to have 80 boats in a tournament, 80 hammers. They're all going to be out there and vying for top prize, which is going to be a lot of money. And then let's see here what's going on. San Diego Bassmasters is going to have their banquet on the 8th on Sunday night. That's going to be a big deal. We'll probably get a little bit of footage from that. That's always a fun thing. And that's about it. Oh, as far as the fishing at San Vicente goes, it's kind of, there's a lot of small fish right now. There's plenty of small fish to be caught. Some of them are against the bank. Some of them out in 20 feet. You can catch them on a drop shot. You can catch them on a Cinco. There's a variety of ways of catching them. I would say, overall, San Vicente would be a good bet if you just wanted to go catch fish, but you got to kind of work for it. Otay would be a bet for you if you want to maybe catch a lot of fish and maybe not. It's really kind of iffy. And then El Cap's tough. That's it. That's the name of the game at El Cap. A lot of dragging going on, a lot of worm fishing, some jigs, probably maybe some Carolina rig kind of stuff. A lot of the guys were fishing worms up shallow. Just against the grass lines or that green stuff along the bank and catching a few fish that way. And that's really our report here for the three lakes. Hope you enjoy the podcast. Talk to you guys later.
So how you doing, Chase?
I'm doing good.
I haven't really talked to you. Yeah, no, we haven't.
I interviewed Dylan
Yeah,
and Brennan. You're like the last of the club.
I've been waiting.
As far as me interviewing you guys.
Yeah,
Uh, First of all, I'd like to say congratulations. You're doing really well here
I appreciate it.
in the in the opens, and in the regular in the club too.
Yeah,
So let's see here. If if you guys don't know anybody, if you guys don't haven't met Chase Sweetman, he's a member of the SoCal Juniors, and he's also fishing these open tournaments, the Juniors Open series. So there's two I would say junior series clubs. There's one club, and then there's the Open series in San Diego, and Chase is one of the guys who's winning all the tournaments here in the last year or so. So, what did you? So you've won the last two,
yeah.
right? The last two opens, and then how'd you finish this year in the junior club, SoCal Juniors?
I think I finished fifth in high school. I was in the top three for a long time. I kind of fell off in the last tournaments. Couldn't get a
Okay,
right fish together. Yeah.
yeah, and so tell us how you did. So okay, just give me a rundown of how your season's going. Like I know you're first in AOY, your team, you and Hagen.
Yeah.
So how did you just give me a rundown of each tournament, and I'll just ask you questions, I guess, as you go along.
Yeah. So Otai was one of those tournaments where the bite kind of turned off on tournament day. So we were kind of trying to scrap together some fish. We got a little frog bite going, and then we got lucky. Hagen got a 4 pounder on a thin
Right.
seine, which is really huge for us. And we kind of knew our bag was still kind of light, so we decided to go try one more spot. It was a spot that was pretty good earlier in the year, and I was throwing an A rig, and we had two. I want to say they were both 3 pounders come eat it next to the boat, and one of them didn't get the hook, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
man, that would really probably would have put us in the first place for that one too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So where'd you finish at Otai?
I think we finished third there.
Okay. Yeah, we were right behind you. We've always been right behind you as far as my team or the team that I'm a part of. So where'd we go after that? San Vicente?
We went to San Vicente. Yeah,
Yeah.
that that one was a. We had some onshore breakers who were really aggressive, but we got like one of those that was a decent fish, and then we kind of went to one drop shot spot, and we just started catching 2 and 3 pounders everywhere. And then
Yeah.
I want to say four of our keepers from the same spot. Dylan's boat was a little low on gas, so we were kind of like, oh, we got like an hour if we run out of gas to make it back. And then we had another good keeper at another spot, and that put us over because I know everyone kind of struggled at that tournament. We were lucky to get 5 good keepers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so we've only fished three tournaments, three opens.
yeah, just 3 opens.
God, I thought we finished fourth. I thought we fished fourth. So
Yeah,
anyway, okay, so this last weekend was El Cap,
yeah,
and I know you explained yourself on how you did it on numerous places, on Facebook and whatever, but give us
yeah.
the rundown.
Yeah, so I did some pre fishing. Dylan did some pre fishing, and he really, really struggled. And I
I
kind of,
saw him out there. I think he was
yeah,
with his dad.
yeah, they really struggled. And I was tossing a drop shot around, and they just really weren't liking it. So I picked up the free rig, and they were just absolutely loving the free rig. I've been on this
Yeah.
bite for like 5 or 6 months now. So I was like, well, I told Hagen, I said, we're just really going to have to grind this free rig. I think that's what they're going to bite the best. So we got to our first spot, and I was like, oh, I'd love to throw big worms here. If we could pick off 1 2.5 pounder, we'll be sitting nice. And he was throwing a 9 10 inch worm on a big free rig, and he stuck a 2.5 pounder within 10 minutes. And we go up the bank a little more, and then I hooked into one. I thought it was a big catfish because it was. I mean, I fought it for 5 6 minutes, and it came to the boat, and we were kind of bummed at that point. We're like, oh, it's only a 4 pounder, but I mean, having a 4 pounder tournament's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
I was able to stick another almost three, and that was just the first 30 minutes. So to have that much weight in our bag in the first 30 minutes is really huge.
Yeah. Yeah. especially since it seems like they've been biting in the afternoons.
Yeah. Then we went and fished the Carolina rig spot, and I was out deep, and then Hagen caught another 2.5 pounder, really huge. And then
Uh-huh.
2 pounder, I think, was our smallest fish by then. We're like, we might have it, but keep fishing. And by this point, I was really tired. My dad's always told me, if you're gonna, the only way you're gonna get bit is keep fishing. And I think it was about 1:40. I was laying on the deck, and I just kept my rod in the water and let the bite.
No,
And
no way.
I was like, oh, he dropped in. Dylan's like, what if he's swimming at you? I lifted it up. Sure enough, he was swimming at me. And then we see a 4.5 pounder there. I'm like, oh my gosh. It was pretty crazy in the last 20 minutes to have that happen.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys, I think you said you caught 10 keepers for the day?
Yeah, I want to say about 10 keepers, probably 5 that weren't quite keepers.
Yeah. We did, God, I think we caught 90% of our fish on A-rigs. And I talked to, I was asking Ava and Pat and Talon how many fish they thought they caught. And they both, each of them had 5 fish and each of them were culling. I mean, we only needed 5 for the boat, obviously.
Yeah.
But we were like catching them. We caught a bunch.
Yeah.
And but it was just, they just weren't the right ones,
Yeah, I heard, I think Fleming said they caught like 15, 20 keepers each and just not the right ones.
Right.
I know we were fishing really, really shallow, which I don't know if much other people were, but for some reason, El Cap have always loved fishing right up tight to the bank, and that's where we call our fish. We're probably in 3 feet of water.
Yeah. So what'd you catch him on? Throw me some juice.
All free rig, he said he found these worms at East County. They were like 9-10 inch worms, so he was throwing those ones.
Yeah.
I love to throw a 4.5 inch on a really light free rig, and that's what the bigger.
See, that's what's different. That's what that a lot of people that I know that they don't even do.
Yeah.
Because we free rig those 10. There was 9s and 10s and 8s all the time. Like my partner and I, and do whatever. And he loves it. He loves fishing that 9-inch worm on a free rig.
Yeah.
But at the opposite end of the spectrum, which is what you were doing, that was kind of, when you said that at the weigh-in, I was like, what? I don't even have a 4-inch worm in my boat,
Yeah.
Like, I do now.
Yeah, I figured out as I brought a couple friends out on the boat. I had my buddy Carson. He was in the back of the boat, and he just put on whatever worm he found, which was like a 4.5 inch. And I was picking big worms and big crawdads like you would think. And he was sitting in the back of the boat absolutely killing them. I think we caught like 51 that day. It was just a crazy day.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I got to start trying that now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was funny because I just went and I heard that you were fishing those little worms, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go out and break some like really some old school stuff out, like split shotting reapers and split shotting these little fluttercraft worms that I got up at slug fishing. And I did that. What was it, yesterday? The day before yesterday. Yeah, no, it's yesterday morning. And and I caught fish on it, but it kind of reminded me, like, I forgot how many small fish you catch. It's like, oh man, it's another one. And they're not small, like 13 inches small. They're like 10 inches small, 9, 10, 12 inches small, like, oh yeah.
They don't want to come out of the boat.
Right. Yeah. You got to pick them up and throw them over the side or do whatever. But I remember back when I was a kid, and when that first started, it was like in 1986, which I know it's probably going to sound funny, but we used to catch like four pounders on it, like split shot and reapers, those little reapers, not the big ones, but the little ones.
Yeah.
Dude, that was such a big deal, catching fish on those reapers.
Yeah.
It was like, it changed the game. Like, it was a big deal.
Yeah, I know my dad talked about that. He's like, oh yeah, we used to throw a split shot rig back in the day when there was no drop shot or anything. I was like,
yeah. And it was all, and so then we started dropping to 6-pound test, and which was kind of really unheard of also. But if you really wanted to do it right, fish the 6-pound, And back then I was thinking too that the line was different. Like I was trying to, crimp my splint shot to this fluorocarbon or whatever, and I was like, man, this didn't used to be a problem.
Yeah.
And the lines are so much thinner now that all we had was monofilament back then. And monofilament 6 pound in the 80s was like probably like 10 pound at this point, or at least 8, it was a lot bigger and thicker.
Yeah.
So I think it was just easier to use that split shot, and it didn't slide as much. Like I was really having an issue yesterday morning trying to keep that split shot in line.
Well, yeah.
So, and earlier, 2 years ago, well, during my guiding and whatever, I've had clients out that aren't proficient with like a Carolina rig, because
Yeah.
like a Carolina rig, it's big and it's hard to cast. So I'll rig them up with like a spinning rod and like a quarter ounce, or not a half ounce, but like a quarter ounce slider with it,
Yeah.
and then just like a small little something, like a small brush hog, like the teeny one,
Yeah.
and that works good.
Yeah.
That works really good.
I've just been getting that Carolina rig dialed in this year. I'm starting to like it.
So do you use how big a weight do you use? What's your rig with that?
I think I use like a half ounce, and then
Do you?
yeah, then I heard from somebody that you want to have biggest leader you can, and then as much as you could cast, pretty much. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning too.
Yeah.
So I started with the half ounce, and well, actually I started with the 3/4 ounce, and it was such a pain in the ass that I went to a half ounce, and then I fished a half ounce for a couple years. And then I heard about some other people that were using like 1 ounce. I was like, oh man, I gotta figure it out. Something's different. Something I'm not catching fish on them.
Yeah.
So I went to a 3/4, and I've been fishing a 3/4 for the last 2 years, and it hangs up a lot. But the thing is you kind of learn how to fish it through rocks and stuff,
Yeah.
so you don't get hung up.
Yeah.
And it just takes, man. I mean, you still get hung up, but you just got to deal with it.
Yeah. I feel that.
And there's so many tournaments won on that thing.
There really is. I know Bryce has been doing really good on that this year at El Cap.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once you get it dialed in and know where to throw it and what you're looking for, where the fish are, I mean, you throw
Yeah.
it everywhere. You throw it in a foot of water, and you throw it in 30 foot of water,
Yeah.
and you throw it with that 3/4 ounce or even 1 ounce, and you throw it up there in 2 feet of water,
Yeah.
and just drag it through all the stuff, and they freaking they love it. They bite it, and big ones. That's the other thing is like big ones bite it. Like you
Yeah.
catch 8 pounders on it, like they have no problem. They like it. They like eating that thing. As another thing.
Yeah. I'm excited to try it this year, next year in the spring.
Yeah, yeah. Keep it in your hand, especially in the spring. Come February, or well, actually, it's just at El Cap, it's all year. But come February, man, keep that thing in your hand. Like have it
Yeah.
tied on, have it on the deck all the time,
Yeah.
and you'll catch a lot, and you'll catch big ones too, and you win
Yeah.
tournaments with it.
Yeah. I got to try up shallow. I've never really tried the free rig that shallow yet. Or I mean, the Carolina rig that shallow yet.
Yeah, yeah. Throw it up in there. Don't be afraid to throw it in there, and vary your leader lengths. I mean, 3 foot's really short. I tend to use like 5 footers. They're
Yeah.
just so hard to cast.
Yeah.
But here in San Diego, it seems like that longer leader helps, at
Yeah.
least for me anyway. And then I see other guys that are just using 3 footers, and they catch just as many as I do or more.
Yeah.
Confidence thing.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do next year?
For fishing.
Yeah.
So me
Well,
and Dave probably think about maybe going to the East County Team Series. We're wanting to do
yeah.
that. We're definitely going to try to get into some team series. We had a lot of fun fishing together last year.
So as far as that East County goes, they're gonna have a ton of giveaways, and
Yeah.
they're gonna have food.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be an extension of the day series, of the team series. But they've got a lot of giveaways. He's gonna give. I don't know if I should say anything, but he's giving away reels for
Yeah.
big fish, on top of the big fish money, you also get a reel.
Yeah.
Each person gets a reel in your team. They're like baits.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard that?
No.
like not cheap reels. Like they're
Oh,
like good ones.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Me and Dylan fished the night tournament from East County, and I couldn't believe how much stuff they were giving away for like an $80 entry fee. They were
Oh
giving
yeah.
stuff. It was just the coolest tournament I've ever fished.
Yeah. That's definitely the most popular of the year for sure.
Yeah, we had fun that night too. We
Oh
were
yeah.
we had no idea. We've never fished that night. We were just frogging the whole time, which I couldn't believe.
Oh, it's a kick.
Yeah.
You catch a bunch. Like it
Kind of,
bites.
when you set the hook, you don't know where your frog is. I think we
Yeah.
took like 4 frogs
Oh yeah. The
to the
bullfrogs
head.
eat those things. The but they bite, they bite worms and just bite everything, chatterbaits and stuff. But they really, when I've always done best at El Cap for me, and you get on a rock pile and you just keep catching them. They're just like you catch 20, 25 off the same rock. Just throw it in the same cast. You're just like, wow. It's totally it's different,
Yeah, I couldn't believe how much fish we caught that night. It was a really fun night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. What's Dylan up to?
So he's loving boating for us, which is cool to have him boating me just because
Yeah.
I fish really well with him. I think he's going off to college next August on the 5th,
Okay.
and then fishing a lot, bringing his friends out on his boat. It's cool.
Yeah. That's cool. He's a good fisherman. He's
Yeah.
gonna do well back east.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going up to SMU in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember something about Texas when I talked to him.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So how old are you, and how long do you have to fish in the juniors or whatever? How many more?
So I just turned 18 a couple months ago. This is my last year. This next year,
Oh, okay.
I'm a senior.
Yeah. So is Ava. This is gonna
Yeah.
be her last year too. So we gotta make our mark.
It's funny. I know Sean was joking about it, about the whole boater responsibility thing, but Dylan, I think, is like 3 months older than me, which is funny.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's funny. And then John Fonseca, he took Brenner and Bryce out. He was a senior last year.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, I
aged
think
out.
he's a couple months with me and Dylan too.
Yeah. Right on. Okay, man. Well, I'll see you at the next one. When is the next one? Is it on
December 14th.
the 14th? That's right. It's not the 7th, it's 14th. And
Yeah.
that's at San Vicente.
Yeah. I've never fished
Yep.
here. Usually I'm out hunting, so that's gonna be fun.
Oh, are you a hunter?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, San Vicente can be really good in the winter. It's one of my favorite. It's definitely. I'd probably rather fish San Vicente than Otay. Of course I like fishing Cap, but San Vicente can be really really good in the winter.
That's what I've
Really
heard.
good.
He says that lake's really fun in the winter.
Who said that?
Dylan did. He said that lake's
yeah.
Yeah.
They group up. They group up on school up on points and whatever, and you just catch them on a worm. I mean, sometimes it's deep fishing, but it's just you're catching so many, that it really makes up for just catching them on a worm or whatever. A-rig's good, especially with the whole forward facing sonar. It's changed the game with A-rigs and San Vicente being
Yeah.
able to see where it's at and whatnot. It's
Yeah.
then the first the first couple of years people didn't understand it and
Yeah.
and just the advantage of the whole A-rig and forward facing and at San Vicente. And I don't know, I mean, all of us in San Diego know about San Vicente, and I guess I could compare it to, like, I think Diamond Valley would probably be comparable, but
Yeah.
there's like so much brush, that you're fishing over the top of brush like all the time. You're
Yeah.
fishing through the brush, and the brush is like 4 or 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then you have the trees too to go along with that, like the oak trees and stuff,
Yeah.
and the rock. But being able to throw that A-rig out, watch it sink, and then keep it 2 feet above that brush is just like it's just You
Yeah.
know,
See 'em
I
come
mean,
out.
that's what it is. It's 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 a, it's a winner. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, man. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks for coming on here, San
Thanks, sir.
Diego Bass Fishing Podcast, and congratulations on the year so far. And good luck next month at San Vicente.
All righty. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Talk to you. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you, Clark. Item 7C is an update on an informational report on public recreation at city-owned reservoirs and enhancement opportunities. And we will invite staff to present the item.
It's time for Megan Trainer to, oh wait, different item? My apologies. I apologize. This is Joel.
Good morning, Chair Whitburn and fellow commissioners. Joelle Barilla, Analyst 1, and the item before you is an informational report on public recreation services at the City of San Diego owned reservoirs in the unincorporated San Diego County. This update is provided in memorandum form and ties to the previously approved work plan from fiscal year 23 to 24 to assess public amenities at the city's 7 unincorporated reservoirs and explore enhancement and accessibility options. Now, with the acknowledgement that the project stalled for reasons detailed in the cover page and ultimately, albeit somewhat unintentionally, left off the current work plan, we wanted to share with the commission what we do have and ultimately see if there is interest to continue and formally add it back to the work plan. So with this context in mind, this update presents the baseline information collected to date with preliminary observations. So just a quick overview, the San Diego region has a total of 24 reservoirs, with 10 being owned by the City of San Diego Public Utilities Department. And as shown here on the slide, these 10 include Barrett, El Capitan, Hodges, Lower Otay, Miramar, Morena, Murray, San Vicente, Sutherland, and Upper Otay. So 7 of the reservoirs are located in the unincorporated areas and circled here in red, while the 3 remaining reservoirs are within the City of San Diego jurisdiction.
Who owns all of those lakes?
The City of San Diego Public Utilities Department.
Owns all, even in the unincorporated, they
Yes,
own them.
that is correct.
What the hell is that? Sorry.
So the City of San Diego, PUD, serves 1.4 million residents. These reservoirs are first and foremost water drinking supplies for our region and operated and maintained by the city's Public Utilities Department, with the exception of Lake Morena, which is operated by the County of San Diego Department of Parks and Recreation. To accommodate various recreational activities at the reservoir, the city's PUD is permitted by the State Water Resources Control Board Division of Drinking Water. Included in their permit are approved public recreational activities, including shore fishing, kayaks, and private motorboats, to name a few, while other reservoirs offer more specialized activities like stand-up paddleboarding, water skiing, and waterfowl and turkey hunting during certain seasons. 4 of the 7 reservoirs in the unincorporated, which are highlighted here in yellow, are Barrett, El Capitan, Lower Otay, and San Vicente, have concessionaire agreements with private companies Ticketmaster and Advenco LLC, while the concessions at Lake Morena are operated by the County Department of Parks and Recreation. Lake Morena is the only city-owned reservoir that provides camping options, allowing 24/7 camping access. And while most reservoirs have regular operating hours from sunrise to sunset, some have seasonal or scheduled closures with specific days closed each month. Sutherland Reservoir is closed for 6 months a year, while the remaining reservoirs are open year-round, though several, including Barrett, El Capitan, Lower Otay, San Vicente, and Sutherland, close once a month. Lake Morena stands out as the only reservoir open daily with no monthly closures. LAFCO staff worked with the County Assessor's Office to evaluate the tax rate areas for the 7 reservoirs in the unincorporated area of the county. The total assessed valuation of TRAs is about $4.9 million, resulting in approximately $49,000 in property tax revenue, of which about $10,000 is allocated to various county funds and districts shown here on the slide. summarize this informational report and our key observations. To just clarify, LAFCO staff focused on 7 reservoirs owned by the City of San Diego Public Utilities Department and located in the unincorporated areas of the county. 4 of the 7 reservoirs are managed under private concessionaire agreements, Ticketmaster and Advenco LLC, which influence the pricing structure and amenities offered, resulting in varying costs for services such as boat rentals and fishing reservations. In some instances, the price range difference is anywhere from 42% to 1,400% when comparing the fees between Lake Morena, Ticketmaster, and Advenco managed reservoir amenities. Lake Morena is significantly more affordable for boat rentals and fishing reservations compared to the other reservoirs, specifically those managed by the private concessionaires. Morena also stands out as the only reservoir open daily with no scheduled monthly closures. The City of San Diego Public Utilities Department funds their reservoirs and recreation operations and maintenance through the General Fund Water Production, and the County of San Diego funds Lake Morena recreation operation and maintenance through their Department of Parks and Recreation General Purpose Fund. Lastly, stakeholder discussion highlights community support for enhancing recreational amenities and access to the reservoirs, in particular expanding recreational activities, improving facilities, and increasing operating hours. This concludes my presentation, so I will turn it back to the Commission for further discussion and questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that report. We have one public comment request here in the room, and let's invite Mr. David Seibert to the podium.
Everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Dave Seibert and a member of the Friends of the San Diego Lakes. Our San Diego City Lakes programs within the county were once considered the crown jewel of lakes management across the state. San Diego City Lakes were a destination for recreationalists at an international scale. Everyone spoke of the world record class fish coming from the San Diego Lakes. That only happens from excellent lakes management. This was proven by retired lakes manager Jim Brown. Both lake access rights and water management can coexist and thrive. Both matter equally. Once Jim retired, we have witnessed the slow and continuous downfall and degradation of the city lakes management practices and recreational access. In previous years, we had lake staff to help us if we needed. Today at county-located lakes, you'll be hard-pressed to find a city worker. There are only 2 lakes where at all times you'll see lake staff, Miramar and Murray. Thousands of joggers, hikers, and bike riders go to both lakes, and they are also open 7 days a week. On the City Lakes website, only recreational boaters must pay a day use fee. This means walkers, joggers, and bike riders and all others do not pay a daily use fee. It means the people who touch the water unfairly bear this burden. The City Lakes proper are also the cleanest, best kept lakes. The roads, bike, and walking paths are all maintained in excellent condition. Access is quite easy and no one has issues with access or the condition of the facilities. It is the largest lakes where you will be unlikely to find a city worker. Both El Cap and Sutherland boat ramps and docks are in terrible, nearly unusable conditions. The roads at these lakes can or will damage your car, truck, or boat from their poor condition. Also at the county lakes, you will find there are thousands of residents, bird watchers, anglers, boaters, and people who enjoy nature. Every one of them are required to pay for a day use permit. Cost is $11. Use of a boat, add another 11. Add a friend, 11. Most pay our hard-earned money every time we arrive at these lakes. However, City Lakes Management has encouraged the non-payment of these fees at the county lakes by the lack of city personnel to enforce or encourage compliance. They then use the red herring as a way of proving that lake revenue is decreasing and does not support continued recreation. We were extremely fortunate this past year to work with the San Diego County Supervisor. Together with our large public coalition working with Joel Anderson's team, we were able to procure the extremely small budget shortfall, $59,000, needed to keep all city lakes open during their scheduled budget closures. City PUD management have been extremely uncaring and dismissive of our ideas and needs in our meetings and conversations. The realization sent A clear message to the county residents that their needs were considered inconsequential by the city and their governing bodies. All the county citizens are asking for is equality and equity. Maintain our lakes the same. We need the roads repaired. We need better parking. We need better ways to purchase daily use permits. We are missing out on additional recreational activities and funds. We need to stop being threatened every year about closures to our prized lakes. It is time for the county and city to work together for all its residents. We ask them to remove budget issues and threats and work as a team to manage the simple issue that we can once again have the crown jewel we call the City Lakes program. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Seaberg. Do we have any public comment online?
No public comment.
All right, thank you, Clerk. Well, let's open it up for commission discussion then. Do we have any commissioners who wish to comment on this item? Vice Chair Willis.
Are we coming down to a very specific recommendations yet on this team? Or what exactly are we looking at?
I'm
So-
sorry, Commissioner Willis, I can't hear you.
Oh, so,
You're not here.
do we have any specific recommendations on this?
So as through the chair, so as Joelle mentioned, the item before you is for information, and it's a belated follow-up to something that admittedly I think staff, I didn't do a great job of communicating when we were doing the work plan for this year that we were not going to continue this project. We have enough information now through Joelle's good work of putting together some missing pieces that we come to you first and foremost to provide you what we did come up with, and then the question to the commission in the form of an ask is, do you believe that it would be in the commission's best interest to continue and add this project back onto our work plan going forward? Certainly staff believes that there's merit, but it is a question of your resources. And I know in working with Commissioner Anderson's office, we're certainly appreciative of their time and interest. And I do want to point out, we are in a unique position where we both have Supervisor Anderson and Desmond's office and support, as well as we continue to actually have the support of the mayor's office should this commission want to continue to look at this. And the issue that we would be pivoting to would be, would a special district governed jointly perhaps between the city and the county make sense? That would be where our analysis would go should you green light an amendment to the work plan.
So if we had a special district like this, we could address some of Mr. Seaberg's concerns on the upkeep and the maintenance and the services that they.
We would certainly look at whether a district could provide an enhancement of the baseline. We don't know the answer to that yet.
Thank you, Vice Chair Willis. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make that motion. First of all, I want to thank the staff for your hard work putting this report together. But I was hoping as we move forward that we look at other models that may be more workable with a city county district, whether it's a joint powers agreement or other models elsewhere that would enhance our ability to manage these recreational resources. During COVID, we had shut down a lot of the resources, and while I was not elected at the time, we had several press conferences. We had a lot of people come out. When you think about family activities and where we can go to really enjoy ourselves, instead of having to travel to the river, and we're all worried about miles on our car and pollution and the rest, this is in our backyard. We have real opportunities, and not to fully utilize these resources would be a crying shame. So I'd like to make the motion that we move forward with it, look at other activities, and I want to do a shout out to the mayor. I reached out to him, and he's been very, very supportive of this. And he said if he needed to call in, I just need to let him know. But we have a very competent city councilman here that has his ear. So that's my motion, and I hope there's a second.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Anderson. This is not an action item for today, but we are providing input to staff, and obviously your recommendation is that the commission, well, does this require a motion? I mean,
No motion is necessary, but with, it sounds like Commissioner Anderson's comment is well received on the dais, so Joel can come back at your very next meeting with a work plan amendment, so it's officially on our to-do list, but in the interim, we certainly can start re-engaging the topic.
I would support that. Is there other comment here, Commissioner Desmond?
Other than, yeah, I think it should be brought back, I guess, as part of the work plan or something like that. Is that keen? Is that what you have to do? Okay. No, I think it's a good idea to take a look. See what happens.
Other discussion? I too would support that. Including in my role, I serve on the City of San Diego City Council, and very much see the value of the recreational opportunity of these reservoirs, not only the ones located within the city, but also those located around the county. And the county of San Diego has been helpful in supporting some of those recreational opportunities with funding in the past, and that is very much appreciated. A couple of things that I would just put out there for consideration as we do move forward in this. I trust that staff would be in communication with the staff at the Public Utilities Department, getting their feedback and input and perspective. I know that there are various considerations. Obviously, while the recreational aspects of these reservoirs are incredibly important and valuable, they are working reservoirs designed to provide drinking water to the public, and that can sometimes entail needing to raise and lower water levels. That can affect boat ramps and other recreational opportunities depending on what the actual need is in terms of reservoir levels. So while you have that under one roof, that can make for some seamless decision making. If there were a special agency, that very well may be workable, but you might end up having to coordinate some decision making there, which is something that ought to be considered. The other thing I would point out as well for staff's evaluation is the recreational staff at all of these reservoirs are represented employees. And so any change to the approach would require bargaining with those represented employees. So that would be something else that we would want to keep in mind. This may all be workable and may all be for the good, but just a couple of important points that we would want to be sure to keep in mind as we move forward with that. Any other comments on that? If not, it sounds like there's an agreement. We'd like to continue to put this on the work plan and see what comes out of that evaluation. Let's go ahead then and move to item 7D, and that is the local agencies director. Let's hear that report.